Hey guys, Jeff with Henderson Acres here, doing a little video on my feeder and water setup. So during the winter, to kind of keep everything a little more like inside so it doesn't get all with snow blowing all over it, I put the feeder in here. Because this is also where they spend most of their time too, but I usually like to keep the feeder in here, but I don't want the water in there. Here, close that, Chase. Because I don't want the bedding to get too wet. Because if the bedding gets wet in a deep litter method, it can get really stinky and you have to like basically scoop it all out and restart. So usually I would have the feeder hung out here. During the summer, this is usually where I put it. I'll probably add a back wall back there to make it so the water driving rain doesn't come in. But right now I got right there's their oyster shells they can eat, and then I'll set this place in water. They use that in a lot of the other, like the commercial chicken warehouses, and it does work with a bucket setup. I know I was a little worried because it talked about it needs so much water pressure to operate, and I don't have, at the time I didn't have water running out here, so I just fill up this water bucket, drill a hole in the bottom, put that hose in there, and then that gets connected up here. So during the summer, or when it's above freezing consistently, I'll take the bucket, set it over there, and I'll hang this right down up from that 2x4 right up here. And what that does is that makes it so I don't even have to do anything. All I have to do is bend over, clean out the trough here, make sure it's nice and clean for them, and then it automatically fills up because it goes off a spring that it pulls it down, the water comes out of these things, it just dribbles right down. And then I'll also hang the feeder up down here. I'll probably make this a little bit bigger so I can easily walk in here, so I don't have to worry about like bending over, reaching in, because that feeder can hold 20 pounds of feed. Don't want to be bending over with that, having the kids or wife try to bend over and get underneath there with that. And for during winter, because this will freeze and I don't want to break all any of the parts and have to pay to replace anything. So during winter, I put the water right here, and that is plugged into my electrical, which is right over there. So that is, I mean, it was negative like 12 degrees with negative 30 wind chill, and it didn't freeze. The top layer skimmed over with ice, but they just would poke their beak at it once and there'd be water they could easily get to. And then you have the chicken grit. I like to give them the chicken grit to make sure they can digest the chicken scraps they're getting, and also any scratch I throw out. And a lot of times, same thing. All that stuff basically will get moved over to there. I'll probably make a couple more of these. Probably put another one over there somewhere. Maybe another one over there. Maybe I'll kind of separate between the oyster shells and the chicken grit and have it go all over. So it kind of spreads out and gives them areas to roam around and more freedom. And then right here is the water. This is new for this next year. That's some PEX PVC. I just put that over because it's got to be protected from the sun. But it'll be mounted right up there, and I'll have a pole or a pipe come this way. And I'll have it somewhere down over here, somewhere where they can't really perch up on it or anything. And I'll have a hose bib there, so I don't have to carry. Right now, during the summer, I have to carry, and also during winter, I have to carry 5-gallon bucket of water about 150 yards, which is not ideal, but it's not too bad, but just makes it a lot easier to not have to carry it. So then I just have to carry basically the 20 feet from there, from the coop over to here to the water. So yeah, that's my setup I use for feeding and water. And right now, threw a little bit of chicken scratch in there. Thought maybe it would give them a little bit more time to be a little more quiet for a video, but didn't really work. But yeah, they'll scratch up the ground and stuff. That we'll throw a chicken scratch in there for like a little treat for them, and we'll throw it outside. And there it helps. See how they're turning over the bedding. That helps for the bedding. But there's the feeder. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about my setup or anything, just feel free to leave a comment below.